for the first time. Shane Larson goes defensive. We're almost 3 wide as we have Meisel now getting involved in the action, but it's Larson who leads Arnold in second place. Towards Lecombe for the first time. Shane Larson goes defensive. We're almost 3 wide as we have Meisel now getting involved in the action, but it's Larson who leads Arnold in second place.
Come in with all that traffic right there.
Yeah, really strategic. Oh, there's a big accident there. Who was that spinning out? There's an LMP2 involved as well. The 38 car. Oh, that's wide from P2 there. He's in the barrier.
You're coming up on the field right now. This is our tightest battle on the track right now. In the 7th spot is Matthew Duder, right behind Agustin Castro and Justin Hall right ahead of him. So this is a battle for the 5th, 6th, and 7th spot. And it looks like Matthew Duder right there. Oh, we've got a car in the sideways in turn 3 again.
Montreal, or the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, has got to be one of Canada's most iconic race track, hosting the Formula One Grand Prix since 1978. It spans just over 2.7 miles and has 13 official turns. And, well, it's fair to say that this track truly garners the moniker a driver's track. And you can't come to Canada without talking about the Wall of Champions. Maybe some of the most heart-stopping sections of racetrack that we have anywhere in the world. And, well, the main question today is, will we see one of our reigning champions fall foul of the wall, or maybe will we see a new face hit the wall, maybe predicting a future champion, I wonder. Welcome then to round 7 of the WSRL Multiclass Season 2 Championship. My name is Sebastian Bosher-Williams. In the virtual production booth tonight, we have Adam Thompson, and alongside me, as ever, I have Mike Braun. Mike, with the season drawing to a close, only 2 races left to go, including this one, today's race really proves crucial for the championship, but it's certainly not an easy track to master. Our drivers are certainly in for a really tough time around the circuit tonight.
No, absolutely. Good evening, Seb. It's going to be a fantastic night tonight. Just to kind of go over how the track looks, we're going to jump in with the Shut Up and Drive Amateur MVP Challenge winner for last week. That's Joey Rutledge. And as you see Joey come into turns 1 and 2 right here, you got to really watch your speed coming into turn 1, because you could push out so hard coming out around this long right-hand turn in turn number 2. And then he comes into this blind turn number 3 and 4. You kind of decrease and come down the hill just a little bit. You want to get plenty of curb on these. You got to watch that curb just a bit as you come in through turn 5. It's a real long right sweeper, and then hard under the brakes into turn 6. You don't want to get too much curb on these, because it does upset the car coming out of turn 7 here. You just let it drift out to that outside sweeper, and then you've got this long straightaway. It's kind of a turn straightaway, and you're coming into a chicane turning like a switchback area, turns 8 and 9. You want to hit the brakes just before the bridge. You don't want to really get a whole lot of curbs here because there are time penalties on this track. But then you got another good straightaway, good passing zone to come into here. Right here is going to be a lot of passing coming into this hairpin, turn number 10. You get hard under the brakes. You hit that inside apex. Let it drift out to that outside wall. You want to use all the track you can down the casino straight, and we're coming into that section that you alluded to, Seb, the Wall of Champions. This is where the men become men. They come down this long straightaway, and you want to get hard under the brakes here. Some guys are going to be pushing all the way up into the 2 marker to get into those hard brakes in the GT3s, but you really got to watch those curbs because there is off-track penalties in there, and it can also push you out into that Wall of Champions area. But that is a lap around Circuit de Villeneuve with our AM winner from the AM chosen guy, Joey Rutledge. Good lap from Joey.
Yeah, interestingly, Joey Rutledge was the iRacing official winner for last week. Of course, we had that great battle, though, between the top 2 and ended up with a little bit of contact, which disqualified them, but results were reinstated. But qualifying then done and dusted for round 7. And, well, unsurprisingly, Connor McClellan lines up on pole. Wayne Castile lines up alongside him. 0.4 of a second separates Castile from McClellan. 3rd spot, Jack Lee. Good qualifying from him. He's joined on the 2nd row by Chuck Muro in 4th spot. Aubrey Condal in 5th with Kunin in 6th spot. Joshua Benjamin starts 7th with Andrew Gajdarek in 8th place. Justin Pereira starts 9th with Quinn Eisenbraun, rounding out your LMP2 field. Christian Gritzko, then your pole sitter in the GT3 class, and starts alongside Justin Hall. Hall starts, I think, one of his lowest qualifying results of this season so far. Augustine Castro 3rd, Diego Eri in 4th, Jake Luther starts 5th with Leon Clover in 6th. Brandon Johnson starts 7th in the GT3 class with Andrew Dre Divac in 8th. Jerry Rutledge, who we rode on board with, starts 9th, and Matthew Dweeder in 10th spot. Will Coffey starts 11th, returning to the GT3 field. Zachary Robinson in 12th. Kevin Medida in 13th with Dominic Angelicchio in 14th. But move further down the order. Eric Rodriguez in 15th. Brian Long starts 16th. Kenneth Michael in 17th with Andrew Chorosecki in 18th place. Jay Fuller 19th, and Lilac Zia in that 4GT starts in 20th place in the GT3 class. Bradley Alvis 21st, Brett DiGiacomo 22nd, Ben Simek 23rd with Daniel Curo in 24th, Stephen Finch in 25th, and Michael Hillier starts in 26th spot. Brian Hoffman 27th, Brett Accord in 28th place, Chris Sanchez 29th, and Eric Letsky rounds out your 30-car GT3 field. 40 cars in total, Mike. The cars get ready to start the race. They pull away from their slots where they were gridding up, but very quickly, turn 1. It's such a dangerous corner, isn't it, Mike? Really going to sort of see a little bit of action there, I think, today.
Every time we think there's going to be action in turn 1, these guys have proved us wrong. So I hope they do prove us wrong, because turn 1 and 2 is absolutely brutal on cold tires and on a first lap. So I think the LMP guys might file in single file, but when you got 30 GT3 cars coming down, barreling into turn 1 and 2, anything can happen. So let's go ahead and take it away, Seb.
So McClellan leads the way, and once again, Connor McClellan wants to get an early start. And as we cross the line, it's all racing for we're racing once again in round 7 down towards the braking zone of turn 1. Everybody in the LMP2 field getting away nicely. It's another nice start from Christian Gritzko. Gritzko already got almost a second gap between himself and Justin Hall as they all barrel down towards turn 1 side by side in the kink before you head to the braking zone. But everybody managing to successfully make it through side by side in the background there, but no contact being made. And just like you said, Mike, we we always get proven wrong, and thankfully we were proven wrong again. Although I think Jack Lee might have fallen foul. He's fallen down to 10th spot in the LMP2, side by side with Fuller and De Giacomo. De Giacomo in the Audi car, trying to make his way further up the field, and here you see the number 13 of Jack Lee. I don't, Mike, see any damage to that car, but this could be what happened to him.
Yeah, coming around turn 5 into 6 and 7 here. If you get hard under the braking, especially on cold tires, that thing just spun around and he just chased the tail around. So a tough break for Jack, but I'm sure he can work his way back up here.
Jack Lee then with it all to do. Barrera, Eisenbraun and Muro separated by, well, not even a few tenths of a second on the racing circuit. Really trying to inhabit the same piece of tarmac, that's for sure. Eisenbraun defends to the inside, heading in to turns 12 and 13. The final chicane of the Wall of Champions. It's got many names, but it certainly is hard. That's much of a given. Gritsko leads in the GT3 class. Hall second. Augustine Castro in third. So it's very much status quo then in your GT3 field as we ride on board with Augustine Castro. Castro pulls out to the inside. Oh, contact is made between Castro and Hall. I'm sure of it. There was a little bit of a wiggle there from Justin Hall. They somehow might be are able to get away with either of them not falling off the circuit, but Hall and Castro coming together early doors. Really don't normally see those two drivers making a mistake. It's further down the order. This is Lilac Zia making a move on Brett De Giacomo down the inside, heading into turn 3, and by the time Lilac Zia's released the brakes, she is up into 18th spot. But Hall and Castro, that was also close to disaster, Mike.
Yeah, that was really close. I mean, I saw Agustin making that move, and I'm not sure if Justin just kind of pulled that block move just a little late. They may have touched. I'm not too sure on that, but good thing they both got out of there clean, because that could have been a complete mess in turn 1 with the whole field still coming in behind them.
So McClellan then got the 4-second lead to Wayne Castile in second place. And McClellan really looking like he won't be challenged in today's race. 1 minute 25.4 for McClellan. Castile a 28.9, so almost 4 seconds then separating McClellan's and Castile's last lap time. Justin Hall's closed the gap back down to Christian Gritsko at the lead of the GT3 field after that contact with Castro so late under braking. Was Hall got away with it, gained a lot of time in fact on his main opponent Christian Gritsko, as we have a look at Eric Rodriguez, the best beard in the business for sure. Car starting to catch Kevin Medida as he heads down towards turn 1 under the timing bridge. And now, Mike, this starts to, I think we're going to start to see, and correct me if I'm wrong, this track really sort of come into its own, where drivers are going to have to start managing, not getting too close to the wall, start managing tyres, maybe start managing fuel. And I think we're almost in a little bit of a holding pattern for the next few laps or so.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to start getting into a groove here. Is see Justin go try to make a move on the inside of Benjamin, Joshua Benjamin. But yeah, I think everybody's going to kind of do a groove right now, not want to push each other too hard, and just kind of settle into what they've got. But as we say that, Justin Pereira dive bomb goes on the inside and takes over that spot up into the 6th spot now in the LMP class. But I think we are going to see these guys cruise around. I think the LMPs are going to start coming in as they usually do. Looks like we may have a problem with Brian Long, Seb. I'm not sure what happened, but he is coming out of that turn really slow.
Yeah, almost looked like he was sideways at some point. Brian Long really struggling out on the circuit. Replay here. What has happened to Long? Oh, just oversteer on the exit. Unusual that the traction control didn't kick in for him there. These GT3 cars, of course, are equipped with traction control, but a quick snap towards the outside barrier, Mike. He'll get away with that mostly, but not a great start to his race. And Simek as well. And I've heard in my ear that this is about to be really bad. Oh, big contact between Simek and the BMW. Is that the 205? Oh, and then Mike, secondary contact on the exit. You don't tend to like to see that. And that was Chris Sanchez, the other driver involved in that incident.
Yeah, they just seemed like ping pong balls going around there, just kept hitting each other and bouncing back and hitting each other again. Tough break for those guys. It looked like Sanchez may have just missed that turn. I'm not sure if it almost looked like they may have netcoded going into that turn as well, but a tough break for those two guys. And just remember, we do have that one fast repair that they're able to take, but you don't want to use it up for just so early. You want to make sure you're able to stretch it out until you get into your first pit stop. And it's like I was starting to allude to before we had that incident. The pit stops are going to probably be about the 18 to 20 minute mark for the LMP guys, and the GT3 guys should be about the 22 to 25 minute mark or so. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody wants to really stretch their fuel mileage to try to minimize a fuel stop, try to eliminate one of them. But the one guy that has always done that really well is sitting in that third or fourth. Where'd he go? The third spot. Agustin has dropped down. It looks like. Not sure what happened.
Yeah, Augustine down into 8th spot overall. Good catch there, Mike. Battles though on the circuit. Routledge, Charles Stecchi and Johnson all battling it out. Was 3 wide on the exit of turn 9 up towards turn 10, the hairpin. And that was very close racing, and now Johnson under pressure from Fuller as he head towards turn 1. Fuller late under brakes. Can he utilise the Ferrari's ability to get the car slowed down just a little bit quicker? This is a battle then in your LMP2 class. Eisenbraun, Chuck Muro and Lee all close for comfort as they head down the back straight. That's Gritsko! That's Christian Gritsko! That was our race leader. He's slow as he heads towards turns 6 and 7 as he exits the corner. I wonder, Mike, did our race leader have a little bit of a slowdown? Because it looks like he's gotten up to pace. In fact, I think, Mike, you might be able to see what's happened, and that's a huge bit of oversteer.
Yeah, that's a huge off right there, and luckily he was able to bring it back in. It looks like he just got the tire just off on the grass and under braking, and makes that car go crazy, and he must have ended up with a slowdown to back him up into the field some. He is so lucky he did not hit any walls to get through there, and he's going to have to compose himself and work his way back up in the field. But out in front is Dre Divac, our amateur leader now. He is leading the whole overall thing right now. So Dre Divac out in front of this whole thing for the GT3s. As you see somebody go darting into the pits. Looks like Justin Hall jumping into Justin Hall jumping into the pits already. And we're only at the 8-minute mark. So I'm not sure why he's coming into the pits so early.
So drama then happening out on the circuit, and as you rightly pointed out, Dre Divac leading not only in the GT3 AM classes, but just plain old overall in the GT3. So a great opening stint from Dre. I wonder, has Justin Hall come a cropper when we were going to replays to try and see what happened to the former race leader Christian Gritsko? So that promotes Gritsko now up into 4th place, but really interesting GT3 battle. Divac once again leads this race in GT3 from Leon Clover. Jake Luther in 3rd, Christian Gritsko in 4th, and Diego Eri in 5th spot. And another driver, just like Dre, who's Mike, heavily involved in the organisation of the WSRL leagues and races. Will Coffey currently in 6th place overall, doing a superb job really on his return to GT3 racing. Currently finds himself in 6th spot overall with a good haul of points. It could be a really, really good race for him.
Yeah, it's good to see Will back in his blood of GT3 cars. But as you see on board right now with Connor McClellan, Connor has come up to lap the GT3 back markers right now. So this is going to get pretty hairy because there is just a whole gaggle of purple cars running right around him. As you can see on the track map in the upper right there, there's just a ton of purple cars right around that black 92 car. So he's got to make his way, inch his way through. But the guy's already got an 8-second advantage, and we're barely on lap 7. 10 minutes in, and he's already got almost an 8-second advantage on 2nd spot of Wayne Castile. So Connor is on for another dominating performance today here at Circuit de Villeneuve. So, I mean, I suggest that maybe next time that maybe we get him to start in the pit lane start. And make him work his way through the field and make him actually work for it a little bit. We'll have to see if that happens next week.
a bit of a last to first challenge. I wonder if if Connor does win this race, then he'll grace us with his presence in the commentary booth. I wonder if we can ask him that question. What has happened to Ben Simek? Oh, runs wide through turn 2, gets onto the grass and finds himself facing the wrong direction. Michael Hillier exits the pit lane, and there is a bump heading down towards turn 1. Yuki Tsunoda found that very bump, and actually what's happened is Hillier there has just gone slow just to allow himself room when he exits, that he's triggered our software to thinking that he's had a little bit of an incident. This is Dominic Angelicchio, and I wonder if this is why he's out of the circuit. Oh, and he's done the Nick Heifeld route of heading down the escape road, and Angelicchio returning back to the pits. Augustine Castro currently finds himself in 18th spot, with Joey Rutledge as well falling very fast down the order. Joey now in 22nd spot overall, and well, Mike, that's why heavy front end damage to that Ferrari 488 Evo GT3. Not quite sure who he's made contact with. Oh, he's taken out. And that's why Castro has fallen down the order, because Castro and Rutledge have made contact heading into the hairpin.
Yeah, it looks like Joey got a tire off, just like Christian Gritzko did earlier under braking, and when that happens, the car just wants to snap on you. And Agustin Castro was just an innocent bystander with a flying Ferrari coming at him, and man, there's just nothing they could do there. So tough break for Agustin. He just seems like his race keeps getting worse. He started off the season running really great, and then all of a sudden, the last few races, he just keeps getting some really bad luck. But yeah, I mean, the out in front is still Dre Divac, and I think we're doing a comparison with the beards right now, because you got Dre leading the race and Eric running in the 8th spot. And I think Dre cussed me out the other day on a private chat about the beard thing, but I still vote for Eric on this one, Seb.
Our votes cannot be swayed unless there's a good amount of sweets involved, and then maybe we'll be talking to Dre again. But I think I'm with you. I think Rodriguez has got the best beard, certainly in iRacing at the moment. Kevin Medina heading down into 11th spot. I think he was running a little bit higher up the order early on. I wonder if Medina's had a little bit of an issue out on the circuit. Bradley Alvis trying to find his way past Brett DiGiacomo. Porsche versus Audi. They've got LMP2 traffic for good measure as well. That looks like the battle between that's Chuck Lee, Chuck Muro and Andrew Gaidara getting involved. Chuck Lee, contact is made between the Audi of DiGiacomo and Chuck Muro. Muro falling down the order. You see him rejoin the circuit in the background. Looks like Chuck will get away without too much damage to his Dallara LMP2 car. And let's have a look at a replay. So Chuck into the braking zone, and that looked like a little bit of a late move there, Mike, by Brett DiGiacomo. And actually, Chuck Muro almost looked like the innocent bystander in that incident.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on with Brett right there. He's normally a pretty good braking and a good driver, and for some reason he just got way out of whack and just went in way too deep. I don't know if Chuck backed that turn up too much or what, and kind of caught Brett by surprise, but that was a tough break for Chuck as he got by a good clean pass coming into turn 12 and 13 there.
The driver that we haven't seen too much in this race so far is Q-Nin, up 3 spots into 3rd place. So the final driver in your LMP2 podium at the moment, as he makes his way past Christian Gritzko and the 33 of Castile. So Wayne Castile, so that was a move for position for Q-Nin. So Q now finds himself in 2nd. Wayne Castile was going very slowly out of turn 10 up the Casino Straight towards the final chicane, and that might have been a little bit of a slowdown for Castile. Oh, and that's why getting all a quiver heading into the braking zone of turn 3. But Mike, that's the second incident we've seen of a driver going off the circuit fairly far away from where they've actually ended up having to serve their slowdown. The first driver to do that was Gritzko, and Gritzko waited almost half a lap to clear the slowdown. Diego Eri, another driver to add his name to the list of drivers trying the old lawnmower tactic. Diego Eri down into 6th spot, but once again, like the other drivers that we've seen, Mike, he's going to have to serve a slowdown. But yeah, the slowdown seem, sorry Mike, that they seem that you can serve them fairly late on in the lap.
Yeah, it depends. It usually give you about like 20 or 30 seconds that you're supposed to serve it, and you could be selective on where you serve it and where you slow down just a bit. I mean, generally the idea is to do it on a shorter straightaway where you're not going so fast and you're not accelerating so hard. But I mean, here's a battle for the lead right now. But yeah, the slowdowns, you really got to pick your right spot, because if you do it right, you don't lose that much time. So I don't know why they're picking that long straightaway like that, because you lose so much momentum at the end of the straightaway.
Completely with you there, Mike, and as you rightly pointed out, a battle for the lead. Oh, so close to contact between Clover and Divac heading in to the final chicane. They've got LMP2 traffic, the 53 of Kandel, and Benjamin tries to find their way past without too much issues. Further back on the GT3 field, Long and Johnson side by side. Johnson is not having an incident. He's just coming in to the pit lane. A really interesting and dangerous at times pit entry here at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. So that might cause a little bit of issues later on in the race. 16, almost 17 minutes gone of the race so far, and what a race we have been treated to so far. Brett DiGiacomo, after that contact between himself and Chuck Muro, finds himself down in 21st place. And well, Mike, that looks like a very, very sad looking Audi R8 GT3, and I think it won't be too long before we see DiGiacomo heading into the pits to take his fast repair, because surely that will be impacting his lap times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is so much damage on the front of that Audi that it's just going to be really knocking the top speed off of it. You got Matthew Dweeter running in the 18th spot. It seems like he's the only car running by himself right now. Everybody else has a battle going on with them, which, you know, sometimes it's nice to be able to run by yourself. But it looks like Dre's starting to pull away just a bit from Leon Clover. He's got about a 2-second advantage now. I'm wondering if the traffic got in the way or whatnot. So Dre able to pull away, but here comes your LMP cars coming in for their first pit stop. That making me look smart right at the 18-minute mark. These guys are doing a good job making me look good.
Well, we don't need the LMP2 drivers to make you look good, Mike. We know that your fuel calculating skills are always on the money. And what I'm surprised about is McClellan has a 22-second gap to Wayne Castile. Castile was the driver running in second spot for most of this race, so I wonder what's gone on between those two. Rodriguez pressurizing Robinson into the braking zone of turn 1. Contact is made through turn 2, and that's not an uncommon sight to see at that very corner. In fact, even happened in Formula 1 in that crazy 2011 race. Rodriguez heading through turns 4 up towards the braking zone of turn 5. Your overall race leader, Conor McClellan, is into the pits, so he's decided to take his stop. And this is Gritzko and Luther side by side heading in to turn 8. Second chicane, and that's going to open the door to Will Coffey behind Luther. Almost let his teammate go through, but Will Coffey, never one to pass up on a great opportunity, tries to make the move past Luther. He's got the inside line as they apply the brakes into the hairpin. Coffey on the inside. Can he close the door on the exit? Yes, he can, and Will Coffey, with a great move there, Mike, finds himself up into 4th spot. And Wayne Castile, just to update you, has not come into the pit. So Castile leads this race, but McClellan already out of the pits. What an amazing opening stint from McClellan.
Yeah, Connor is just the class of the field this whole season in the LMP class. He's just runs away and hides, and he's just showing the guys how it is truly done with these cars. As you see Chris Sanchez coming on the inside of Brett DiGiacomo. Brett on that inside line, trying to get that hard braking line, but with that damage on his car, it's going to be rough to hold that spot down this long casino straight right now. And I think that Sanchez is going to be able to get the horsepower down to go down the straightaway and overtake him, unless Brett makes a bonsai move into the braking zone. But he might want to back off and just take it in. Yep, just a good move from Brett there to back into that turns 12 and 13 and just kind of battle another time. But as you come into right now, you got Lilac Zier. We're talking about, I think we were talking about it in pre-production meeting, that we're just amazed that Lilac can still whip this GT40 around any of the tracks this whole season. There's a few tracks that, okay, I can see you run it, but, these tight, twisty tracks like this, it is so hard to be able to get this thing around. So kudos to Lilac for racing the GT40 this whole season and just, showing the boys how it's done.
I'm completely with you there. Superb season so far. What has happened to Andrew Chorostecki? He's rapidly falling down the order. Well, there he was running in 9th when he crossed the start-finish line for the last time. Currently finds himself down in 17th spot, and I wonder if this is why. Oh, a little bit of a ping-pong effect there. That's an LMP2 caught up in the middle. And who was that who ended up diving in? Was that Jack Lee? And I think pushed in by Kevin Medida, I wonder, in the BMW. But poor old Jack Lee looked like that wasn't necessarily his fault. It looks like the BMW of Kevin Medida there, Mike, almost pushed Jack Lee into hitting Andrew Chorostecki and just looked, so unlucky. As we can have a look again, it just seems to me, Mike, that BMW has a little bit, because Jack Lee sort of moves in a very unorthodox way.
Yeah, that's one of those racing deals right there. It looks like Andrew was trying to block the inside from the other GT3 car to try to block that line to keep him, at bay. But the LMP was expecting him to go to the outside so he could just take the inside line. And when he moved up to the high side, they all just got together. So it was just one of those racing deals. I think it's just a tough break for both those guys.
The Chorostecki then coming out of the pits after presumably repairing the damage that he picked up during that incident. As we see Jerry Routledge, another driver who was heavily damaged early on, making his way back through the field. In fact, comes out just behind Chorostecki. So Andrew Chorostecki has gone from one battle straight in to another one, this time over 21st place. So Dre Divac, Leon Clover, Gritzko, Will Coffey, Luther, in fact all of them coming in to the pit lane in the GT3 class. So GT3 pit stops, Mike, very much open. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen every single GT3 come into the pits at once, and they just keep on continuing to come in. I think it might be easier to tell you when a driver doesn't come in for a pit lane, and actually it's Justin Hall. So Justin Hall, the driver who has had a fairly Justin Hall's already been into the pits though. So Hall back out into the race lead. So Dre Divac then exiting the pits manages to keep ahead of Leon Clover. But Justin Hall leads this race once again. But, surely, Mike, we're going to have to see him coming into the pits again. There is no way that he can do the amount of laps that he needs to do on one tank of fuel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He is going to have to make another stop, another splash and go. This pit lane is a little shorter than some of the other ones that we've run on, but I don't think it's going to be, an 8-second gap. I mean, he is going to fall back into the field, but it's good to see Dre Divac back out in front. I mean, technically he's out front right now on pit stops, but he's in all else fails, he's still leading the amateur class. The amateur cars are designated by those 3-digit number with the number 3 on the front. All your AM guys are the 300 numbers, and all the pro AM guys are the 200 numbers. But and also another way to tell them out is by the wingtips and the mirrors. The mirrors on the AM guys are the red color, and the guys for the pro AMs are blue. So it's really easy to tell when you guys are coming up behind you just by looking at their mirrors to see, which guy is a pro and which guy is an AM. So you're not really battling them, but you are. So you might just give way a little bit easier to a pro AM guy than one of your amateur competitors. But Dre is definitely just laying it down right now. I mean, his lap times right now are just as fast as anybody else out there. They're all in the mid 135s for their fast lap times. So it's good to see Dre, but it looks like he might be getting a little challenge right here from Leon coming into turn 1, Seb.
Over on the inside, and by the time that they've hit the brakes, Leon Clover overtakes Dre Divac for what will be the net race, well, what is the net race lead once Justin Hall has come into the pits to get another tank of fuel. And Clover made that look easy, dive to the inside through turn 1. I have to say that Dre didn't really put up too much of a fight, and I wonder if that's a little bit strategic by Dre. Almost get the sense that Dre Divac was in the pits for a little bit less time. In fact, I believe his pit stop time was a little bit quicker than Leon Clover, so I wonder if Dre is having to do just a little bit of fuel saving to make sure he gets to the end of the race, and maybe wants to benefit from the slipstream that Clover would provide. But this is your overall, or your GT3 race leader at the moment, Justin Hall, currently at one place from where he started, although, as we know, Mike, he's going to have to come into the pits again, and this race has just not gone well for our reigning champion. Really unlucky incidents, and we didn't see what happened to him, but had the opportunity to lead this race fairly easily after the incident that the names have completely eluded me at the moment. Christian Gritsko had early on, and Justin Hall just had that issue, and currently is really challenged if he wants to get this race win tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a long road for him to try to take this win right now, especially with pitting so early. There's really no way that he can make it all the way through. As these guys come 2 by 2, man, that is so hard to come into the wall of champions side by side like that. And I wonder if Sanchez ended up taking a slowdown or a big X on that.
I think there was certainly a slowdown, maybe damage, but I'm pretty sure I saw a car slow on the exit of the Wall of Champions there. And I wonder if we had our first sort of confirmed hit on the outside of the final corner. This is Daniel Curo. What has happened to him heading in to the hairpin? That's a late send there by Justin Barrera. Gets the move done, but Curo very close to contact. This is Michael Hillier, the 332 car. I think this is the BMW that was so slow. And what can we see? Certainly into the wall. And you could tell from here, from the camera angle so far away from the final chicane, Mike, that is some serious steering damage that he's picked up on his BMW car. So 2 drivers really struggling with the Wall of Champions chicane in the space of a couple of meters or so. But just how this race has been frenetic and frantic all race long. We have another battle out on the circuit. That's an LMP2 car going across the contact was that between the 68 and one of the Porsches, Q Nin. So he was the driver forced off the track, and that's allowed Barrera now to get involved. Contact between Nin and is that Duida, one of the Mercedes GT3s for certain. It's all going off at the moment, Mike, as we head down the back straight. Justin Barrera managing to make it past Q Nin for third in the LMP2 class. Further down the field, Chorostecki trying to defend from Duida, and also Chorostecki trying to find his way past Brian Hoffman. They're all sort of coalescing on the circuit at the same time, and somehow they've all managed to keep it roughly pointing in the right direction. And now it's Andrew Chorostecki trying to go down the inside of his likewise brother Porsche car down the inside. That looks like a little bit close for contact between himself and Hoffman. Still side by side on the exit, heading up towards turn 3. Chorostecki's on the outside. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside. Hoffman closes in. Hoffman darts across the inside line. It's starting to get a little bit frantic, a little bit frenetic at the moment. Duida being forced out of the way. The LMP2 trying to just get past, try and just leave everybody to their own devices. And Joe Rutledge, the driver in the Ferrari at the moment, is looking at all of this with a massive smile on his face, I am sure, just watching the drivers up ahead of him fight tooth and nail over what is 15th, 16th place, and down is another LMP2. That's Aubrey Kundal. Aubrey just needs to play it safe, Mike. Just almost wait for the most opportune time. It doesn't matter about how much race time you lose. You just got to keep the car intact, because that battle is very, very fierce between Hoffman and Chorostecki.
No, that's a 5-car battle for the 16th spot right now. We got one spinning out there. That looks like Chorostecki having a problem coming into that hairpin there. Let's see what happened to Andrew here. Coming into the braking zone, just misses it. It looks like he just went way high, got a little sideways, able to collect it before it got too far around, but he did end up losing 4 spots right now. So he's at the back of this pack right now. but now you got Chuck Murrow in the middle of these guys trying to just get through the lap traffic. And poor Chuck is just having a heck of a time with lap traffic right now, but he just keeps catching these packs at the wrong time. But, I mean, Korostecki now dropping back into that 19th spot. He's going to have to cool them tires down and gather himself back up and get back up into that pack.
Certainly will. That was so close between Chuck and Korostecki. I think Chuck might have been having a little bit of a flashback to earlier on when he had a similar incident with, I do believe it was the the Audi of De Giacomo. So Christian Gritzko currently in third place. So he's managed to find his way past Dre Devac. So is Augustine Castro. So very much service resumed between Gritzko and Castro. As we see Justin Hall, the net race leader, heading in to the pit. So Clover will take over the race lead from Christian Gritzko with Augustine Castro in third. But Castro dives into the pit lane. So Augustine Castro having to make another stop. And I have to say, Mike, I'm a little bit surprised by that as Kunin dives under braking, almost colliding with the rear end of Justin Barrera as they split the middle between two GT3 cars. Kunin, does he decide to have a little bit of a look down the inside into turn one? Decides against it for now. But is that sort of confirmation with Castro coming into the pits, Mike, that this is in fact a two-stop race for the GT3s as well? And actually, Justin, I'm getting my names all wrong today. I have to apologise. It's been a very, very long day. But does that mean that for our championship leader, Justin Hall, does that mean that he's in with a fairly decent chance of getting the race win today?
Well, Justin just came out of the pits, and he is now down in the 8th spot in the GT3 class. So he's already collected his second pit stop, and he will be good the rest of the way. But Agustin came in early as well. If I remember correctly, he had some early body damage, and if I remember correctly, he did come in early to get that repaired, so that's why he's off cycle from the rest of the drivers. But I mean, this has turned out to be a great battle right now with Leon Clover out in front, Christian Gritzko reeling him in about 1.6 seconds right now. Dre Devac still hanging on to that third spot in the GT3 class. His fellow admin in the league, Will Coffey, starting to reel him in. Will trying to get all the draft he can get off these LMPs down the casino straight. This might be tough. Dre holding his ground and trying to get out of there without losing too much ground. And there goes Will going around the outside, trying to take over that spot now. So Will knocking Dre down one spot in the order, but Will Coffey running with the pro guys. So he is up in the upper division. So Dre Devac still leading the AM class, but not too far back is his fellow competitor, Jake Luther. These guys had an amazing battle last week, and hopefully it continues on with another, 12 minutes to go yet, Seb?
Well, one can hope. That is for certain. 1.8 seconds separates Dre from Luther. So fourth and fifth place are their places overall in the GT3 standings, but first and second in the GT3 AM standings as well. I think Castile has had a little bit of an issue. He sort of lost a few more seconds to McClellan. McClellan now can boast almost over a 40-second gap as that's three wide heading towards turn 8. Hall making his way past Rodriguez. Alan P2 making his way past both of them. That's the car off the circuit. Was that Benjamin? They're all really starting to concertina up, heading towards turn 8. Jay Fuller, another one of our Ferrari GT3 drivers today, trying to find his way past Kevin Medida. Can't have a look down the inside, heading in to the hairpin. Who can get the better run though out of turn 10 down towards the final chicane? Devac utilizing his Porsche and the Porsche's ability to ride the curves a little bit better than the BMW, absolutely hammering the car over the apex curves. Still can't find his way past his fellow league admin Will Coffey. So Devac currently still in fourth place overall. Joshua Benjamin, I think he was one of the drivers to fall foul of the track limits, Mike, heading through the second chicane. He's into the pits for his second and he'll hope final stop of the race. But everywhere you look at the moment, car spinning off in the background. Is that Zachary Robinson looping it on the exit of turn 1? Yes, it is the 316 Porsche, and he's going to have to wait on the outside of the circuit And Mike, another driver losing the rear. Talk us through it.
Yeah, just coming into turn one just a little too hot. You really got to get hard under the brakes into one. You can't carry a whole lot of speed into turn two, and that's what it looked like it happened to Zachary. Just getting in too hot coming into turn two, and you just chase the rear end around. So he'll have to rejoin and try to work his way back up. But right now, in the out in front of the cars with gaining the most positions right now, we've got Brian Hotham. You know, we do have at the end of the season, we do have an award for most points gained from your starting position, and right now we have the 217 car up 11 spots in the 26th spot. So Brian Hotham doing a good job. He's trying to carry on from his great finish from last Thursday night in the other WSRL Indy League. Hotham had a great finish in that, so he's hoping to carry that on into the GT3s this week.
A superb race so far is Hotham. He's only just under 1.5 seconds behind the next driver up ahead of him is Chuck Muro. Dives down the inside of Gajdarek. Gajdarek blinking just a little bit, almost pushing Muro out wide through turn 2. Towards turn 3, Gajdarek has the inside line, has the advantage, and will utilize that to good effect. With him now retaking P5, Chuck Muro, can he get him back though? Heading towards the next chicane, the second chicane on the racing circuit. A little bit of lap traffic up ahead. That's Dre Diva getting involved in on this battle then for 5th place in the LMP2. And, well, Chuck Muro's just going to have to bide his time as his fierce competitor Andrew Gajdarek manages to make it past both of the GT3s while Chuck is forced to wait at least as they head through the 3rd chicane of the lap. And luckily for Chuck, he'll be able to make the move on 3rd place. Will Coffey before the braking zone of the hairpin. As you see, Q Nin and Aubrey Condell, 2 more drivers in the LMP2 class, heading in to the pits for their 2nd and final time in today's proceedings. Fuller then still behind Kevin Madida, heading into the braking zone of the hairpin. Mike, I'm surprised we haven't seen more overtakes heading in to the hairpin. It tends to be one of the places that I find easiest to overtake on this circuit, but drivers certainly preferring to overtake into turn 1 a lot more today.
Yeah, turn 1 is a lot sketchier of a place to pass. I think 12 and 13 is a great spot, and turn 10 is probably the 2 best spots for me to make any passes. But turn 1 and 2 is so sketchy because you really got to watch your speed, as we saw earlier with the one GT3 car spinning out coming out of turn 1. So you really got to watch your speed that you carry out of 1 into 2. But guys are doing it, and they're making it stick. So good on them. They're doing a great job. And we were closing in on 7 minutes to go still. So there's still anything's going on. But out in front, Connor McClellan still just checked out and gone. I mean, he's got a over 40-second advantage to Wayne Castile. And then you got Leon Clover now pulling away from Will Coffey in the 2nd spot. He's got a 9-second advantage on Will Coffey now. So everybody's starting to stretch out, but it's good to see, you know, a little bit of a battle right here with Gritzko dropping back to the 3rd spot now. So not sure what happened to Gritzko there. He dropped back to 3rd. I was wondering when Will got a little sideways coming out of the hairpin there, but I thought Gritzko was a little farther up, but all of a sudden Will Coffey is ahead of him, and it's going to be a crazy battle now with Jake Luther closing in as well in the 5th spot. I mean, this is going to be a crazy battle here to the finish.
Yeah, good spot there, Mike. Gritzko was certainly in 2nd spot and sort of handedly catching Clover 10.2 per lap. So Christian Gritzko struggling once again, and that move has certainly happened on that last tour of the circuit. Does Gritzko fancy a look down the inside into turn 1? It decides against it. This is allowing Dre Divac back into the battle. He was closing, in fact, in on Will Coffey. That was going to be a battle that was going to go down to the wire, but we've added the complication in now of Christian Gritzko in the middle as they head through at turns 3 and 4. Gritzko getting so close to the outside wall, really dicing with the devil there. Nicely tucked towards the apex for both of the BMWs, the 291 and the and the 57 of Will Coffey, of course. Will Coffey carrying his LMP2 number rather than the standard sort of GT3-esque numbering that we have. That's a look there from Jay Fuller. Not really going to find your way past into turn 5 unless you really want to get up very, very early in the morning. Augustine Castro is gaining on that battle though. So Medida, Fuller and Castro are going to be all battling it out for 9th spot very, very soon. Dre, Mike, so close to the wall on the exit of turn 10 as we ride on board with Gritzko up the hill towards we were heading up towards, as we see the battle further down the order. This is for 9th spot. Kevin Medida trying to hold on around the inside, does so very successfully. Conor McClellan trying to just navigate his way through, but Fuller in the slipstream has got the advantage of that Ferrari power unit, slightly quicker than the BMW. Fuller pulls out to the inside. He just needs to brake a little bit later. Who is going to be the bravest under braking? And it will be Medida, but Medida's gone too deep into the corner. Fuller will have a better run out. But look at this in the background. Augustine Castro trying to capitalize. They're going to go 3 wide as they head down towards turn 1. It's Augustine Castro on the inside. And it all goes wrong. Fuller and Medida come together and Augustine Castro just drives off into the proverbial sunset, and Fuller and Medida are still battling it out even after both spinning out, with Fuller now sending it to the inside, heading towards turn 3, and Fuller does manage to make his way past Kevin Medida, but not after a little bit of an issue. A flash of the lights there from Kevin and Mike. Wow, that was inevitable as soon as you saw them go 3 wide and nobody was willing to concede. It was always going to end in disaster.
Yeah, I covered my eyes as soon as they went into turn 1. I wasn't sure what the heck was going to come out of there, but that was all sorts of wrong. It's hard enough to get 2 cars through there. Nonetheless, 3 cars not wanting to back down. But as we switch back to the GT3 class, we got Will Coffey still hanging on to that 2nd spot. Christian Gritzko getting a nice tow down that casino straight, coming into the Wall of Champions area. They both come through there close. Christian really close to that, making himself a champion on that wall. But he did a good job staying clean and hang tucked in behind that bumper of Will Coffey. Coming into turn 1, here comes another pass coming into turn 1. You were talking about it earlier, Seb. Everybody seems to be leaning towards making that pass coming into 1 and 2, and there he goes. Christian Gritzko sticking it down.
What a move that was into turn 1. Gritzko, so late under braking. I thought we were going to see him sort of steam clean off the circuit, but no, Gritzko had it controlled and finds himself now up into 2nd place. Clover is losing like a second so far on this lap alone. The gap was some 7.3 seconds when they started this lap. So Clover, is he struggling out on the circuit, or is it going to matter too much? 43 minutes gone of this 45-minute race. Gritzko is going to need some, I'm not quite sure if they're Schumacher or Senna style quali laps. I think he's almost going to need some miracle quali laps if he wants to make up that 6-second gap. This is a little bit of a tasty battle between 12th, 13th and 14th. Elvis, Duida and Long. Long being forced around the outside of turn number 7. Long has the slipstream of Duida though as they head up towards the next chicane, the big braking zone, a place where you can make a move if you're feeling brave enough. Castro and Rodriguez, Augustine Castro, he's almost found a little bit of a boost button in that Porsche, battling with Rodriguez, and I think Castro will have just a little bit of a better run out. And will Rodriguez want to fight this, or will he just admit that Castro's a little bit quicker and sort of live to fight another day? That's DiGiacomo there, trying to find his way quietly out of the way to not interfere, but ironically almost interferes a little bit more. Contact between Castro and Rodriguez. And DiGiacomo's caught up in on the action as well. DiGiacomo, the innocent bystander, in on that action. Castro has to reset to the pit, so a huge incident for him. I think Rodriguez, Mike, has managed to continue, but you have to say that looked just a little bit clumsy out there.
Yeah, too wide coming into that wall of champions area, like we mentioned earlier, is a little sketchy, and they just happened to stay side by side and bump into each other. And a tough break for those guys. They had a great race going. As we're closing in on 45 minutes down now, so we're good. Where's our leader at right now? Let's see where Connor McClellan is, Seb.
McClellan then heading down the back straight, and this is his final lap of the race. It's gone so fast that I don't think we in the commentary booth were quite sure that it was white flag already, and I don't think Connor McClellan would have known as well. It's certainly been a race of dreams for the German driver as he rounds the final corner, doesn't fall foul of the wall of champions. It will cross the start-finish line to win once again this season. Congratulations, Connor McClellan. And then we have to wait almost 50 seconds for the next driver in LMP2 to cross the start-finish line. Duida had a look down the inside of Alves, but that's allowed him to become vulnerable to Brian Long in the BMW as we head up towards the final chicane, the final big braking zone on the circuit. Matthew Duida's got the inside line. He's forcing Brian Long to go the long way around the outside into the final chicane, almost colliding like we saw Augustine Castro and Rodriguez do earlier on in the race, but it will be Medida finishing ahead of Alves, finishing ahead of Duida, and Long will have to settle for 13th place. Andrew Chorostecki in 14th place for him, with Lilac Zir in 15th. And I think Chris Sanchez might have just stolen the highest amount of positions gained awards in this race. 14 places gained for Sanchez. Confirmation as well that Barrera finished in second spot with Castile in third. As we see now, everybody just cross the start-finish line to complete their 32 or so laps of racing today, Mike. But wow, that race had it all. It certainly had its fair share of drama. But wow, what a race. And WSRL never fails to deliver.
No, they absolutely did. We were kind of talking earlier about this race. We weren't quite sure how it was going to go, but it did definitely serve the just how good a race it was. They definitely did not disappoint. As you see, our LMP winner, Connor McClellan, winning by 50 seconds. That's just astronomical. He's just been dominant the entire season. Justin Barrera finishing in the second spot and finishing in third. Wayne Castile. So Justin getting by Wayne towards the end of the race. Good job on Justin. And then finishing in the fourth spot, Andrew Gaidarik. Joshua Benjamin ends up in the fifth spot. Chuck Muro finishes in sixth. Jack Lee in seventh. Quinn Eisenbraun in eighth. Q Nin in ninth. And Aubrey Kundell in the 10th spot. As we are silhouetting on Justin Hall's brilliant donuts. He's going to have to start writing his name with his rubber from here on out.
He's making a beautiful pattern in the tarmac and the runoff of turn one. Confirmation then that Leon Clover was your GT3 Pro-Am and overall GT3 winner as well. Closely followed by Christian Gritzko in second, Coffey in third, Justin Hall finishes in fourth with Diego Eri fifth, Eric Rodriguez finishes in sixth, Jay Fuller seventh, Bradley Alvis in eighth, Matthew Duida in ninth, and Brian Long rounds out your top 10 in the GT3 Pro-Am category. Sanchez finishes 11th with Hoffman in 12th place. Daniel Curo, the first of our Pro-Am drivers to finish a lap down in 13th with Augustine Castro after that huge accident as well, gets classified in 14th. And Eric Letsky, 28 laps down for him. And the GT3 AM standings, Dre Divac takes the class win. Couldn't quite get the overall GT3 victory, but still came home on the top step of his class podium. Luther in second with Kevin Medida in third. Chorostecki just missing out on a podium, finishes in fourth with Lilac Zir in fifth. Zachary Robinson finishes in sixth with Kevin Michael in seventh. Jerry Rutledge in eighth with Brandon Johnson in ninth, and Ben Simek rounding out your top 10 in your GT3 AM standings. Brett DiGiacomo in 11th, and then Brett Accord, Michael Hillier and Dominic Angelicchio, all retirees in the GT3 AM standings. And well, it's almost become a little bit of a feature in the WSRL post-race show. And that is, I'm going to talk to your LMP2 race winner, Connor McClellan. Connor, once again, welcome to the commentary booth. I don't even think I have to welcome you anymore. I think you've made your acquaintance fairly well. And I think I called in commentary that race was almost like a race of dreams for you. I mean, it must have felt like that from the cockpit.
Oh, I love this track and this race. I think nothing really happened. Nothing noteworthy. Normally after the race, I kind of skim through the replay and check it out a bit. But this time, I checked like one incident and then left. It was a dream.
Your race became a lot easier, I think, because it was Wayne Castile who started behind you. I think he made a mistake on the second lap, and by lap 2 you had sort of a 4-second gap. Does your mind do you sort of switch to almost like self-preservation, sort of dialing the pace back, or were you sort of pushing every single lap?
Sometimes I try to get a faster lap just for my own ego, but most of the time I'm taking it easy, and I don't send stupid dive bombs most of the time. I think I had one incident where I kind of bullied someone off the track. Now that I think of it, it was a weird incident, like lap 6 or so. I don't know if it was on stream, but I mean most of the time I just kind of switch into self-preservation and try to be like 0 incidents.
That's a good strategy to have, and it's looking like the championship is pretty much yours. Did you have any incident with the Wall of Champion today? Did you sort of have a graze that we didn't manage to catch on the stream?
There were no X's, no contacts. I did get slidey out of turn 4, I think it is, the downhill right left. Almost hit that one, but no champion of walls incident.
Wow, I mean, what a race from yourself. I believe that Mike has a question for you, Connor.
Oh. Connor, I haven't had a chance to really talk to you this whole season because, well, Seb gets you guys and I get the GT3 guys. But I do have one question for you, and it's more of a challenge, I think. I think that we should have a pit lane start from Connor McClellan next week and see what happens next week. I think that would be a great challenge for you, and just to see what you can do with that. What do you think?
It is very tempting because I do believe by my rough calculations that even if I didn't show up next week, I would still win thanks to the drop week. I'll have to double check that. I think a pit lane start would be fun, wouldn't it?
Your one drop week is going to be the one you did not win because you won every other race so far. So I think that pretty much solidifies you taking the points championship. And I'm challenging you with this, and Seb and I aren't not going to be here next week to watch it anyways, so we'll have to watch it on the broadcast. But we do definitely challenge you to do a start like that.
I'll think about it if the times allow it, because it'll be a race until 4 a.m. and I work the next day. But I think it would be fun. I accept the challenge.
All right.
Well, that sounds like a reason to tune in for the final round next week. Connor, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise.
Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? I mean, anybody. I mean, it almost feels like when Mercedes win, they have to sort of find somebody else to bring out on the podium. You got anybody to thank?
The fans, great crowd. Boys back at the Delara factory, and they're all great. No, I don't know. I'm running out of people, to be honest. So.
Well, that's fair enough, Connor. Congratulations on another great win, and I won't see you, but we will see you in 1 week's time as we head to Red Bull Ring.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Certainly has. And that was Connor McClellan, then your LMP2 race winner. Mike, have you managed to find any of those pesky GT3 drivers?
I did find one pesky GT3 driver. We're still trying to find the other one, but somebody might know this guy. A couple of us might know this guy. We might talk to him every once in a while. But Dre Divac, congratulations on your AM class win today. You look like you had it just, under control the entire time. I mean, you led the entire field for like 5-8 laps or something like that, and it looked like just a great race from you. So, Dre, just walk us through your race. How did that go?
It surprised you, right?
Well,
because I surprised the hell out of myself tonight, Mike. I am so pumped right now, but I'll tell you what, I got lucky, man. There was a little pile up heading into, I forgot the name of the turn, pile up, and I just said, screw it, I'm going full throttle, I'm going to go right and see if I can pass, and that's what got me in the first. I passed everybody. I wasn't the fastest guy on track, man. I just got a little lucky tonight, but I'll take it.
Bit of a Days of Thunder flashback there, huh, Dre?
Maybe a little bit, man. The last 3 laps, I was like, man, watch. I'm going to get a slowdown. Jake's going to pass me, and I'm going to be absolutely pissed. But no, the car, I don't think I made one mistake really the whole time. Almost got taken off the track on that hairpin, the left hairpin. And I was like, oh no. I was like, that's going to just change that gap to Jake behind me, but was able to hold him off. But Jake was definitely faster than me tonight, but I just trying to, keep it together the entire race. So, man, I am pumped right now. First win of the season and the first win in my class in a long time, so.
It was a great race, and it looked like he kept inching his way closer as you caught traffic kind of off cycle, and then he would get stuck with it and get pulled back away. But the one battle I want to talk to you about is about that bright yellow BMW. Some solo guy that hadn't raced all season.
I let him by. He's already talking shit in the Discord, and I let him by because you know what? I'm here. I just wanted to follow because I had enough gas. Honestly, I gave him a little room on a I forgot what corner, but I'm just gonna hold his draft and try to pull away from Jake. It was kind of a little strategy I wanted to use because I knew I wasn't the fastest, and I was like, I gotta use some kind of advantage. So for a while, I was right on Will's bumper, but I had chances to pass him, and I didn't want to. So I just wanted to stay behind and get that draft.
Yeah, it looked like a great race, and you held him up for a little bit, and Will's not here right now, so yeah, you let him by. Good. So we'll just go with that.
Yeah, he knows better.
I'm kind of stalling because I'm still trying to get our other GT3 guy in here.
I let him know to hop over too, so I don't know what happened there, but yeah.
While we do have you here, you got anything you want to shout out? I mean, anything news you want to come out with? What you got?
God, I've got so much news, but I just can't come out with it yet, guys. Maybe.
Come on.
I'm hoping maybe the finale next week. I'll be able to announce some stuff. Thank you obviously to you guys. You guys kicking ass as always, and all the sponsors, and just how the WSRL has taken off from now. Man, we've got something huge in the works. It's exciting. It sucks that I can't talk about it right this second, but
it's going to be some big stuff, and I know that's going to be awesome. Just being that we're able to represent your league as we have, we're proud to carry the WSRL banner for you guys, and you guys have been putting out an amazing product, and we look forward to what you have to come for us.
Man, thank you guys so much for saying that. It means a lot. Appreciate you guys so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Hey, Dre, before we let you go, we are going to have some fun races while, Seb and I are going to be here next week to broadcast your last race. Yeah.
Gotta deal with Adam talking or something? Oh God, that would suck.
Hey, you can't do that kind of stuff when I'm muted and I can't even respond to you. Yeah, it sounds like at this point, man, it's probably going to be Randall McGrew and maybe hopefully we can find one more person to hop in, but if not, you got my beautiful voice.
All right, I guess I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But,
I'm gonna make sure the commentators curse you, man.
Oh, hey, man, I think I'm gonna be. I don't know. After tonight, I might be leading. So with my drop race included because I missed a race. So Red Bull might come down for the class championship. So.
Well, if somebody updated the points, we could have been able to tell you that.
Yeah, somebody's got to start doing that. I don't know whose job that is. Yeah, that was my mistake.
You're welcome, Adam. I got you. Yeah.
I will take the blame on that one.
Yeah. I don't see our winner jumping in here. I'm not sure if he's having some difficulties, but Dre, once again, great race from you. You definitely represented well, and it was good to see you up front, my friend.
Thank you guys so much, man.
Thank you, buddy. That is our winner in the AM class, Dre Divac. Our winner in the Pro-Am class was Leon Clover, one of the few Audis out there. I mean, he just definitely did a great job in the Pro-Am class. He was running right in behind Dre for a good part of the race. Made a great move, I believe, coming into 1 and 2 on Dre, and was able just to run away and hide. So a great race from Leon. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to talk to him for the first time. And he might be having some issues trying to jump in here, but maybe we can catch him in another race and just kind of give him his props for his win tonight.
I think that will have to be the case, but yeah, great race by all tonight. But well, that concludes the race today at the Montreal circuit, and it's been an absolute pleasure to share the commentary booth with you, Mike, for the almost 2 seasons of WSRL that we have covered together. As we mentioned, both me and Mike will not be here for the final round in 1 week's time, so we'll have to, just like everybody else at home, have to catch up on the action. But Mike, how do you sum up a race that was, at Montreal, that was just so enthralling, such an amazing spectacle? Thoroughly enjoyed that one.
It's hard to beat the race we had last week at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, but they did a great job around this track. There was a few guys making a couple simple little mistakes, but they definitely did well. They did serve WSR well, and it did not disappoint at all.
It most certainly did not. I to be honest, I had the same thought coming into this race as you, just about, like, how could you beat Nürburgring, but we certainly did do that today. Well, we've got time left in the broadcast for us to tell you about the upcoming broadcast on the Slow Motion Broadcasting YouTube channel this Thursday. I'll be back in the commentary booth for the WSRL IndyCar Series from Spa-Francorchamps. And also we have the Spec 5 World Tour. That's from Imola, and that starts at 9:15 EST. Then this Sunday, WSRL Endurance Series at Nürburgring combined. That starts at 9 AM Eastern or EST. And then once again, XSLR returns. That's at Crandon with the VW Beetle. And the first round was so exciting in the Rallycross cars. Do not miss that for sure. Monday as well, we have XTC, and that's from Le Mans or Circuit de la Sarthe. Always worth a watch wherever a car is racing around Le Mans. And then next Tuesday, WSRL returns as we head to Red Bull Ring for the season finale. But that has been us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you very much to Adam Thompson, who does an amazing job on production as always. And thank you very much, Mike, for sticking by me in the commentary booth. My name has been Sebastian Bosher-Williams, and I won't see you, but WSRL will, as it will return in 1 week's time as the championship heads to Red Bull Ring.